Hello friends, it's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums, and today I have another tarot spread video for you guys to add into your practice or to have in your collection. Now, this is one that I have found in one of the many tarot books that I have, one of the guidebooks that comes with a tarot deck. I think it's part of the Black Violet tarot deck, I believe. And this is going to be the weekly navigation spread. I know I already do like a weekly check-in reading, which is just a quick 4-card spread. I kind of post videos here to kind of let you guys know what I think is going to be going on as a collective. And this one's a little bit more in-depth. It has a little bit more cards. It's a 7-card spread. So it's more cards, and it also has different questions to kind of focus on in your reading. I'm using the Witchy Cauldron Learning Tarot Cards deck. I think it's great for you guys to kind of just follow along as we kind of look at the cards that want to speak to us today for our little sample reading. So you guys can see how I would use this spread in my own kind of personal practice and how I would do a sample reading for this actual spread. So let's kind of get into it and see what I'm going to try to focus on the energy for the week and see what this has in store, because I think if I would have done this previously, I would have kind of found out what was going to happen last week. I had some interesting things happen. It would have been nice to be able to plan for it a little bit better, but hindsight is always 20/20, right? Let's get into it. So card number 1 is going to be the theme of the week. So what is the overarching theme or idea to focus on this week? So here I have the 5 of Cups reversed. So what is going to be the challenge to overcome? This is going to be what obstacles or challenges may come up. So here we have the Page of Wands. Okay, so number 3 or card 3 is going to be action to take. So how to handle the challenges or obstacles this week. And here we have the 7 of Cups reversed. For card number 4, we have the advice from within. So what inner wisdom can you tap into? Have the 9 of Swords reversed. Card number 5 will be the external influence. So what external factors might impact your week positively or negatively? Here we have the 9 of Wands reversed. All right, so card number 6 is going to be the focus and priorities. So where is the best place to direct your time and energy? We have the 5 of Wands. Okay. And card number 7 is going to be our outcome lessons. So what lesson did you learn that you can take with you into next week? We have the Ace of Pentacles. Interesting cards. Now I'm just going to kind of check and make sure I have everything pulled the way that I want it to be before I kind of get into the sample reading. So this is where I will use my pendulum and kind of do a check. Get into the sample reading and how I would interpret these cards for the specific questions that I ask in this spread. So very first card is going to be the theme of the week, and this is going to be what is the overarching theme or idea to focus on this week. So here I have the 5 of Cups reversed, which is about moving forward, moving on, accepting help, healing, forgiveness, rejoining the world. Now, to me, this is kind of saying like, hey, I need to stop trying to do everything on my own. That is something I struggle with. Maybe I need to be more aware of like what I'm taking on, why I'm taking it on. It is something I have been really heavily considering this week because I had something, it's something that I've been considering because I've had some stuff happen in the last few weeks that have made me reconsider how much I've taken on, how much I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and what it means for me as far as like my level of happiness. If I like want to continue to be this busy doing this much all of the time, I just don't think that it's a sustainable pace for me personally. So I think with the Five of Cups reverse is maybe I need to kind of move on from certain things, learn to accept some help, kind of feeling like I can kind of go back into the world in different ways. Because I do feel like I've been kind of holding myself back in some ways. I've been very, very busy with so many other spinning plates in my life that it makes it very hard for me to make time to enjoy things the way that I would like. And just due to health issues, due to, how busy I've been and how much I've kind of added onto my plate, it has made it very challenging for me to take some time out to do things that I really enjoy or things that I really love. So I think that is very apt for kind of where my mind's at and what I have going on with me. Now for card number 2, this is going to be the challenge to overcome. So what obstacles or challenges may come up? So here we have the Page of Wands, which is all about enthusiasm. So this can be a card that talks about optimism, competition, faithfulness, salesperson, politician, preacher, inspirational speaker, athlete, performer. This is someone that's like very chatty, can kind of like get you to do stuff that maybe you wouldn't naturally do, can kind of convince you. So this being the challenge, it may be that I need to be wary of anything I may be trying to purchase at this time, or any kind of places where I may be putting myself in a position where someone feels like they have to convince me of something, which is kind of funny because we are kind of looking at maybe making a pretty big purchase here in the future. So we've been having to kind of go out into the world and be around a lot of different like salespeople and stuff like that as we're navigating like what comes next, and kind of just not falling for the hype or whatever, trying to like do our due diligence and our own kind of personal research before we kind of commit to anything at the present moment. So I think that this being the challenge to overcome is maybe being overly enthusiastic, overly optimistic about stuff. There's nothing wrong with seeing things as they really are, instead of, always trying to focus on like a positive spin, or trying to like view the good where we're at with what we have. So I think maybe that this is kind of just saying for me to not feel like I have to constantly look at things in the best possible light, because that is something I tend to do. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or a negative Nancy, as the little saying goes. I always try to be not that. So maybe that is going to be a challenge for me, is to not constantly feel like I have to be like, oh, it's going to be fine and it'll be good and this and that. Sometimes things are just not fine. Sometimes things are kind of shitty. People, do what they're going to do. All right, moving right along to card number 3 is going to be the action to take. So how to handle challenges or obstacles. So here we have the 7 of Cups, which is a card of dreams, lots of options, choices, multiple possibilities, opportunities, picking and choosing, making decisions, like wishful thinking, imagination, taking some time out to kind of connect. So maybe that's what I really need to focus on. Maybe this is more of like where you're just kind of opening yourself up to the possibilities, versus like having to feel like I have to have a very concrete plan, have everything figured out, have everything very neat and tidy and making sense. So I think with this card, it's just essentially kind of saying like, I need to kind of look at what is available to me, and not be drawn into the very first thing, the very first kind of option, or what somebody else is trying to convince me to do. So it may be this opportunity to kind of like move into understanding that I don't always have to just kind of go after the very first thing that's available to me, and kind of open myself up to the possibility that there's different things that may be available to me that maybe I'm just not seeing at the current moment, because I'm allowing myself to get kind of distracted in some way. Now, card number 4 is going to be the advice from within. And this is, what inner wisdom can you tap into? Now, it's funny because this is kind of not seen as a very positive card. It's a card of anxiety, mental anguish, negativity, deep unhappiness, stress, burden, overwhelm, inability to kind of cope with things, regret, remorse, focusing on the past. And so with this being the advice from within, as someone who is generally pretty anxious all of the time, always, never not anxious, maybe it's kind of saying like, that is something I can tune into is, maybe listening to why I'm anxious about certain things. And it's hard because as someone, again, that has kind of like general anxiety disorder and is just kind of raw dogging life unmedicated, it's hard at moments to kind of distinguish like what is actually an anxiety producing thing, or what is just like my mind kind of making up a story that's making me anxious. So I think with this, it's like maybe having to kind of tune in a little bit into those fears and looking at why, like, where's that coming from? What does it mean? What can I use? Where's the wisdom in that? And I think a lot of us like don't want to tune into the spooky, scary, right? We just don't. We want to focus on like the good and the happy. And so I think with this, it's almost saying like, maybe I need to kind of take that time out to deal with like some of the things that are bringing a lot of anxiety for me. So that I can cut away from anything and release myself from anything that is no longer going to be of benefit for me as I try to move forward. Now, card number 5 is going to be the external influence. So what external factors might impact your week positively or negatively? We have the 9 of Wands. And again, this is resilience. This is an ongoing battle. This is like fatigue, being drained of energy, like close to success, learning from your past failures, gathering your strength, fighting, in your corner, the last stand. It's this energy of like, I need to rest and reconsider things. And maybe, with this being the external factor that I might be aware of is that I need to take some time out to take care of myself. And that is something I had to learn. I've had to learn a lot the last couple of months. I just feel like all these things keep happening that make me have to pause a lot of what I'm doing. And it makes it very challenging because I have felt very incapable of showing up in the ways that I would like to. So I'm having to like pick and choose like my health versus, what's going on. And it's like sometimes like with some of these things, it's like they just cannot be ignored. And so I think with this, it's like, hey, maybe I need to be aware, like all this external stuff that I'm carrying, like where I just kind of feel like I just have to keep trucking. Maybe I need to kind of reconsider what I'm doing with that. And like, am I actually giving myself ample time to recuperate and rest, which I kind of feel like I haven't. I have felt so exhausted and so tired lately. I mean, I've literally been going to bed by like 9:30, which I've always been a little bit more of like a night owl, staying up till like midnight, whatever. I like that kind of quiet time for myself. And lately it's like by like 9 p.m. I'm like struggling to make it, to stay up until like 9 p.m. Like I'm literally like by 9 p.m. I'm like, I'm exhausted. I just need to go. I just need to sleep. I just, this, that, the other. Like it's been very interesting how I have been feeling with everything. So card number 6 is going to be our focus and priorities for the week. And this is, where is the best place to direct your time and energy? Here we have the 5 of Wands reversed, which is all about compromise, ending of conflict, reaching agreements, setbacks, disagreements, and petty squabbling. So typically this is a card that talks about conflict. It talks about fighting. It talks about arguments, disagreements. And this being reversed, I think it's kind of saying like, I need to focus on how to end some of the conflict, whether that's conflict within myself, like not being in a position of like, oh, it's like me versus them, or being super defensive. That is something I've really been aware of in the last year, is like my level of defensiveness. I'm trying to like work on that so that I don't feel so like, oh my gosh, everyone's against me or everyone hates me. Or someone has something to say and it's like, so like it hurts my feelings so much. So I think that is going to be something I need to be aware of, is like, how am I directing my time and energy to not like go into like petty squabbles and petty disagreements with people or whatever. I know I've been taking on a lot of different things in my life and like with my other business that I'm in this place now where I'm like, I'm just kind of reconsidering like, what does it mean for me? And do I want to keep doing this? And like, you know, I've been in this like phase of like, maybe I just need to kind of let go of some of these things. It's hard. It's hard because I hate disappointing people, but it is what it is. Sometimes disappointing people is just a part of life, and sometimes you just have to kind of keep it moving, and it's either disappoint someone else or disappoint yourself. Card number 7 is going to be the outcome or lesson. So what lessons did you learn that you can take with you into next week? So here we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is all about prosperity. It is about a financial new beginning, new financial opportunities, a new job, new business, money, investment, savings, prosperity, security, stability, abundance, manifestation. So I will say, because of all of like the different things I've had happen just in the last like 2 months, I've really been considering what else I can kind of do to ensure I am not in a position where like I felt like last month was financially a little bit more challenging. And so it was like one of these things where I was just kind of like, I don't want to feel like that. And I know like I'm going to have to take a really big step back in the summertime from what I've been doing. And so I'm going to be without an income. And that is something that's been like heavy on my noggin, like for real, because life is expensive. And I'm going to, you know, and I hate putting a lot of pressure on, you know, other members in my household to kind of pick up the slack where I lack at times. And I know like that's how teamwork works, you know, I get it, whatever, but I'm also very big on, I really like earning my own keep and ensuring that like I'm also contributing in some way. So I've been kind of considering like, well, what else can I do? What else can I offer that like will also supplement what I have going on and still allow me to like rest and heal and take that time out without stressing myself out, because that is another thing I tend to overly do, is overstress myself. So I think with this is that maybe this week I'm like trying to look at where can I create more avenues to bring in and call in prosperity, to open a new door for opportunity, to where it's not just this like one thing, because that is something I've been struggling with, because that's another reason why it's like hard for me to kind of move on from certain things, because I'm just like, well, I don't want to disappoint this person, and I don't want to like, you know, whatever, and then what am I going to do? Because then I'm going to have like this space and then what am I going to do with that space, even though like maybe I need to have a little bit more breathing space and breathing room in different areas of my life so that I can be more in that creative flow. So this is the weekly navigation spread. That's a really quick kind of reading for you guys. These cards always tattle on me. I'm always like here with the intention of, I'm just going to do a really quick reading sample for you guys. And then it's like, boom, here we go. We're going to tell all of your business. But let me know if you guys do any kind of like weekly check-in, weekly navigation. Do you have like just a daily spread you like to do? Because I do pull cards daily. And then I also, you know, pull like for the week. Sometimes, you know, if I have like a lot of stuff going on, or if I have like a lot of things that I know are a little bit challenging for me to kind of tune into, I will pull some cards to just get a little bit clarity, get a little bit of like a definition of like, what do I need to keep in mind? Like, what am I forgetting? What am I not seeing here? So I want to say thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you enjoy these tarot spreads. I really enjoy you guys watching my videos. Let me know if there's anything else that you want me to talk about or share as I find and kind of review all of the tarot spreads that I have in my practice. I'll see what else I have that I can, you know, share with you guys. I have some other ones that are more like deity based, or like, you know, based for like different moon cycles and moon phases, and astrological ones. So let me know if you guys are interested in those kind of spreads. I just want to say thank you so much for being here with me. Please take care, stay safe, and as always, make good choices. Bye.